I'm excited for our next guest who's waiting in the wings for us. I got to be honest. I it's funny because I saw Kathy and I thought that we were having a different Kathy, and so I'm excited. You know, I would have been excited for that Kathy, but I'm equally excited for this Kathy. So, Dr. Granpeesheh, do you know which Kathy it is?
It's Kathy Thompson, right?
It's Kathy Thompson.
Okay,
I
so
thought it was Kathy Visconde. I thought
Kathy
we had somebody had
Visconti
talked.
should
I
also
thought
be
you talked
here,
her in.
but
She should be here, but she kept saying no.
that's right.
So we'll just say, Kathy Visconde, you should have been here. We would have shed some love on you. But Kathy Thompson is here, and that's a really wonderful thing. So, because she's remarkable, and through, have you noticed there's a through line through a lot of these conversations that people have been talking about Kathy Thompson and how
Yep,
they sparked the light in her, in them. She sparked the light in, yes, you know what I was trying to say. She sparked
that's
the
right.
light in them. So what would you like to say before we bring her in?
So what Kathy is unbelievable. What a gift it is, honestly, to have for a family to have Kathy overseeing their case. You talk about the gold mine. This is the lottery right here. Kathy is the most incredible clinician we have at Card, I would say. Like, she's just unbelievable. She is, and I want to say, so I also, now that I said my story with Ev, I also remember my meeting Kathy. I had just left UCLA. I had just finished, I had my doctorate, and I had just left, and I was just starting to see some patients privately. And there was a family who reached out to me, and I went and started working with their child or supervising their child. And Kathy was one of the two therapists on that case. And right from the get go, Kathy and I would, look at the child's programming and sit and start problem solving and trying to figure out how else we can communicate. Now, here's the amazing thing, Shannon. If you go back in time, Kathy was my first actual employee at Card. So that's what's incredible, right? And she will remember the days when, so this was even right before Evelyn, even. This is when she would remember when I used to sit in a family's kitchen and write like my personal checks to pay the therapist, which is amazing. And then, of course, you fast forward to, uh, as you know, so many of the senior people that we interviewed, they came to Card because of Kathy. They saw Kathy. Kathy was their teacher. And to this day, she continues to be an incredible mentor and an unbelievable just clinician and just a wonderful, wonderful human being. And if you, I know Kathy also on a personal level. And of course, I love following her on social media and stuff. And I think she's one of the best people I've met in the world. So I'm really, really happy and thrilled that she agreed to come on our show.
Me too. Let's get her in here so we can thank her in person. There she
Wow,
is.
Doreen.
Wasn't that nice? I knew that I could
So nice.
I had to keep you off the camera so that I could say everything I want to say. It's so
I
great
just
to
have
see
to,
you.
can I respond? Because when I first met Doreen on that young boy who had just left UCLA as well, he hadn't reached the criterion that they expected to continue treatment. So he hadn't generalized vocal limitation. And so they had terminated services. And when I met Doreen, I saw her heart right away, which is what has caused me to stay all these years at Card. And what I hope I've passed on to other people is just this heart that never gives up on a child, never gives up on a family, always believes we can do something, we can solve this problem, we can figure out how to teach this child. And this child was a difficult child. He didn't learn traditionally, he didn't learn in the ways that most kids did. And so you had to be really creative and think outside the box, and that's what she did, and kind of inspired me to realize no child was unreachable. So that's the legacy of Doreen Granpeesheh and the reason that we're all here. So
Oh,
I
I love
just
you.
have to
Thank
pass
you.
that on to her.
Thank you. Thank you. But I want to say, Shannon, that like, and I thank you, Kathy, and you guys are always so kind and say these things about me. But the truth is, a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the things we do at Card, and I feel not just at Card, I feel like we are uh, in some ways blessed that people who have left Card also took this knowledge
Mhm,
and have not
mhm,
kind of disseminated it. So it's
mhm,
way beyond Card. But a lot of those things that became part of the Card model were things that you developed, or you and Carolyn. I mean, there was one time, Shannon, we had a retreat, and I'll never forget it. It was such a powerful way that Kathy and Carolyn, who we've also interviewed, taught the rest of us, which was they did this presentation because they had been, Carolyn had been working with a child who was nonverbal, completely nonverbal. And in those days, it was a long time ago, it was in the 90s. And we all had not, it had not become part of ABA, or what we used to call behavior modification, to think that with autism, there are some kids who are just not receiving vocal instruction. They can't. And the way you teach them has to be visual. And I remember this presentation they did, which was so powerful, that they just sat across each other and they were going to show us therapy, how we do therapy. And one of them, I think Kathy was the child, maybe, and Carolyn was the therapist. And that she started giving instruction, so which would usually be like, do this or put your hand, whatever. And all she said was blah, blah, and blah, blah, blah. And the point was that the child just cannot understand what we're saying. And I remember after that presentation, it was just a whole different thing. It was like every child I saw, the first thing I thought was, can this child understand what we're trying to get across, or is there some other modality? Kathy then became, I mean, I remember for many years, you were training others at Card on the PECS program, on all kinds of like iconic communication, and it helped. And Renat being one of your
mhm.
students, and so many people. And Kathy actually also, I keep remembering things now. Kathy also single-handedly uh, developed and worked with two of our wonderful parents very early on to produce our very first e-learning, Shannon, which was what we used to train thousands of therapists for many years. Remember those days, Kathy?
Mhm, I do. I do.
And how are things today? And tell us a little bit about your journey.
Oh gosh. Well, lots of changes, as probably people have talked about already, but just crazy to think back on those days of you coming to houses and writing us checks. And
Remember
then
that?
the little office, I think it was in Reseda. Was that your first office?
Encino,
Reseda?
yeah,
Oh,
Encino.
Encino, that's it. Yeah, yeah. And going in there and the curriculum being up on the wall,
Well,
written. I mean,
yeah.
just the craziness of thinking back all those years and then looking at what has been developed and what is present and accessible to supervisors and therapists and families now. It's mind-blowing to think about
Yeah,
that, right? And the
yeah.
reach of what you've established here all over the world, so I hope you look back on that and are proud of, and I know a lot of people have contributed to that. I know you're going to share that, but just that you started it, that you were the impetus of all that. So I hope you look back on that with pride and know that what you started will continue on in the lives of the people that
Thank
you've
you.
inspired. So
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you. I do. But I mean, you're still actually seeing kids to this day, right?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm doing what I love to do. I love working with the kids and the families, and especially the hard kids, the kids that don't make
Yeah,
progress. Those are the
that's
kids I love the
amazing.
most, trying to figure out how do we teach them? How do we help them communicate? How do they acquire something that is just hard for them to understand? I love problem solving that, and the joy of watching them figure it out and learn it and be
Yeah,
able to
yeah,
use it, and the families when they experience that as well. Like there's nothing like that. So yep,
it's
still
true.
doing that. And still investing in people too. I love the college kids that come in and they're hired as
Yeah,
therapists and they're not sure what they want to do with their lives. And no matter what they do, speech path, teach, occupational therapist, PT, and really anything, business, what they learn in the field of behavior analysis is going to help them in any of those fields. And so it's just fun to invest in our younger generation too. And so many of them end up going into the field. And so it's fun to watch them start their careers and make a difference in the lives of kids and families. So yeah,
yeah.
this is a great job.
Oh,
Very rewarding.
how do people react if when you tell them you've actually been doing this for over 30 years? Because you have, right? And it's your 30th year this year, I think, or maybe even
Yeah,
more.
in terms of being hired, in terms of us meeting, it's been 31 years. Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy? That's
yeah,
crazy. But
unbelievable.
yeah, it doesn't come up much how long I've been with the company,
No, because
with
nobody
the
would believe
family.
it. Look at the two of
Yeah,
you. Nobody believes you've been doing anything for 30 years. Come on now.
Uh,
I'm serious. Like honestly, you guys, I
that's
do
crazy.
think that I think that instead of trying to recruit people, we should just show them what your skin. And people will be like, "Oh, if I
Isn't
work
that
at Card
happen?
for 30 if I work at Card for 30 years, that's what my skin is going to look like later on." I think that's the easier sell, you guys.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but
No, that's okay.
honestly, no one would
It's
believe
the
that you've been
joy.
working anywhere
It's the
for
joy, though,
30 years.
Shannon. It's such a joyful experience. Kathy just explained it really well. It's that the moment when, I mean, we used to, when we did clinics, and I know you know this experience too, Shannon, where the child gets something that you've been trying to teach for a while and the entire room cheers. That is the most rewarding experience I think anyone could ever have, right? It's just an amazing experience.
Mhm.
It is.
That
So
that
very,
must be
so
a wonderful
lucky.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
to
Are you
work that
still
way for 30 years.
absolutely? And are you still seeing kids in the San Juan Capistrano region?
Yeah, I'm still
That's
seeing kids in
amazing.
town. Yep, yep, and
That's
still
awesome.
keeping in touch with the kids from way back when. So, well, they're not kids, they're adults now, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
fun to kind of keep up on their lives and see what they're doing and talk to their families. So, yeah, it's really, like it's kind of cool that you get to be involved in someone's life for so many years. It's not
it's
just like a
amazing.
teacher where you have 1 year and then they're gone. You're with these kids and families for sometimes 12, 13, 14, 15 years. So
It's
it's fun to
amazing.
watch them grow up and do the things that you were working towards them being able to do. So that's fun.
Yeah.
No, it's an amazing gift I know from the families that have had you in their lives. And I know we could continue this love fest for a long time, but we have one last guest we have to get to. But on
But I
behalf
just
of all the families, Kathy, thank you so
thank you.
much.
Yeah, and
Oh,
can
my
I just make
pleasure.
sure you know, Kathy, that Lisa and Renat and Carolyn and so many people that we have interviewed, they say, I watched Kathy Thompson one time and that was it for me. That was the
Mm,
reason that I came into this field. And look how long
mm.
they've been in the field. So,
Yeah.
your reach is very, very broad. And I feel so lucky to have known you from day one and to have worked with you. And I love that both of our kids are so grown up and in college, and we're not retired. Are you a
Yeah.
grandmother yet, by the way?
No, darn. I know. Waiting for that. Excited
Yeah.
for that.
Thank you so
Oh,
much, Kathy. Love you very
Yeah.
much.
So love
And
you
thank you,
too. And
Kathy.
so blessed. Thank you.
Thank you,
thank you.
Kathy. Thanks for watching Autism Live. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now.
To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.